Hello, my name is Bobby Lozon, and this is Exercise 3 on Employment Law. Today I'll be discussing the case between Dawe and the Equitable Life Insurance Company of Canada. This case is an important example of wrongful dismissal and how the courts determine the appropriate, reasonable notice period when an employee is terminated without cause. A quick case overview shows us that the case we're looking at is Dawe versus the Equitable Life Insurance Company of Canada. The legal issue here is wrongful dismissal and reasonable notice. The court we find this case in is Ontario Court of Appeals. The final decision in this case is the employee is awarded 24 months of notice. A quick background shows us that Mr. Dawe was a senior employee with 37 years of experience. After being terminated, he was not provided with appropriate severance package. Initially, the court awarded him 30 months of notice, but this was reduced to 24 months by the Ontario Court of Appeal. The case is significant as it reinforces reasonable notice periods for long tenure employees. What did the Equitable Life Insurance Company do wrong in this situation? The employer, Equitable Life Insurance, wrongfully dismissed Mr. Dawe, a senior executive who had worked at the company for 37 years, instead of providing him with a fair severance package. The company failed to offer an adequate notice period based on his age, tenure, and high-ranking position. The key issue here is that Dawe had devoted nearly 4 decades to the company, and at the age of 72, finding comparable employment was extremely difficult. The employer's decision to terminate him without proper compensation was unfair and violated the employment standards on reasonable notice. Now we look at question 2. What laws did Equitable Life violate? The employer violated the principles of wrongful dismissal under common law. In Ontario, when an employer terminates an employee without cause, they must provide either working notice or a severance package, equivalent to the reasonable notice period. In this case, the trial judge initially ruled that Dawe was entitled to 30 months of notice. However, the Ontario Court of Appeal reduced this to 24 months, stating that only extraordinary circumstances justify a longer period. By not offering Dawe an appropriate severance package, Equitable Life violated his rights under common law principles of reasonable notice in employment. Transitioning to question 3, we examine what should the Equitable Life Insurance Company have done in this situation to comply with the law. To comply with the employment law, Equitable Life should have provided Mr. Dawe with a fair severance package reflecting his long tenure and senior position. Specifically, the employer should have offered a reasonable notice period of up to 24 months. This is the standard maximum notice period unless extraordinary circumstances exist. Second, they should have included benefits and bonuses. Courts consider total compensation, including salary, benefits, and incentives, when determining fair severance. And third, they should have communicated the termination professionally. The company should have negotiated a fair exit package rather than forcing Dawe into litigation. Had Equitable Life followed these steps, they could have avoided the lawsuit and costly legal consequences. Finally, we dive into question 4, which asks us what legal remedies are available to an employee or Wade in this situation. Since Wade was wrongfully dismissed, he had the right to sue for damages based on the reasonable notice period. His legal remedies included, firstly, compensation for lost wages. In this case, he was awarded 24 months of salary to make up for his losses of income. Second, which would be benefits and bonuses. In cases of wrongful dismissal, employees may claim compensation for lost benefits during the notice period. And third, potential negotiations of a settlement. Many wrongful dismissal cases are resolved through settlement negotiations to avoid prolonged litigation. In this case, the court appeal confirmed that Dawe was entitled to 24 months of severance pay, reinforcing that the seniority and tenure do not automatically justify exceeding this limit, unless there is extraordinary circumstances. In conclusion, I'd like to summarize by saying Equitable Life wrongfully dismissed Mr. Wade without providing a fair severance package after 37 years of service. The Ontario Court of Appeal ruled that he was entitled to 24 months of notice, reinforcing the legal standards for reasonable notice and employment law. Thank you very much for listening to my exercise 3. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day.